Hey gang, my name's Tyler Douglas and I'll be joining you for MIT 812 this semester. There I am again. So, a little bit about myself to start off with. My current role, I'm an operations analyst of training and development at jet.com, hence the lovely purple JET we have there. So what that means is what I've done is I've actually developed an internal learning management system that doesn't use any of the core programs like Exonify or Captivate. It's all housed in-house on our servers, designed by myself, and most of the information is created by me. I house all the material on our system and I help modify all the material, and I pioneered a lot of interactivity and training. So basically my experience in developing multimedia apps has been through this. I went to college at Baker University to get my undergrad. I studied sports media. There I quickly learned that, one, I did not want to be on the radio to talk about sports. There's not a whole lot of fame with that until you get going. There's a lot of time and a lot of hours dedicated to that. So I kind of switched my focus and went more into a sports information focus, where I learned how to use programs like Adobe Muse, Stat Tracker, the Daktronics software for sports, and then I had to take it to the next level with learning Photoshop, InDesign, Dreamweaver, and eventually I started to branch out into this realm of computers and programs that can be done on computers and using third-party softwares to make things cool and interactive. Then I thought, oh, awesome, that's going to be amazing to have on my resume for becoming a potential sports information director. However, I then kind of switched up a little bit. I took a sports marketing class and loved the promotability and like doing new things, trying new things to gain attention. So I went that route. And when I couldn't get a job in the field I wanted, I had to search elsewhere. You got to survive. So I stumbled upon jet.com. It was a startup company at the time in April of 2015. And it was actually the building I started working at. The director was a former Baker grad himself, and I started working there at the associate level. I was an order picker. So when you order things online from an Amazon or Jet, if it's in our warehouse, some person physically picks it. I know they talk about robots and everything, but no, a person goes and picks it. And so I did that for my first 2 to 3 months. I was given an opportunity to step up into a leadership role. And then from there, I continued to grow. And as a company, we had no formalized training whatsoever. And I know in regards to training in a warehouse environment, when you're picking and packing, it may seem like, okay, that can't be that hard. Well, there's a lot of steps and it gets very granular. So I was tasked with being the lead of the training department. My team members and myself were to be the face of Jet. My first assignment was to basically come up with an onboarding. And I kind of knocked it out of the park. I had been thinking about it ever since I'd learned of the opportunity to have the position. Well, that turned into me basically out of a want to not have to have a lot of paperwork and have things roll across my desk and not have to physically teach classes myself. And I stumbled upon the idea that you could make a homebrew LMS system. And so one of the things in college I developed was a form software that exported to Excel, that we were able to then create this form software that was enabled us to have quizzes and have tests. Well, we also took it a step further. The actual material that we were able to train on was SOPs, standard operating procedures. Some of you may have heard them as standard work. So a standard work document is pretty plain, for lack of better words. It's step-by-step instructions with pictures and very, very minimal content and information, as little as paraphrasing as possible. Well, that's all well and good. So we had that stored as well. And new team members joining our team were able to scroll through this and learn a little bit more about the process. But I didn't like that because it felt like, all right, this is plain and boring. Also, most of the people we were bringing in, I mean, our company caters to millennials. That's why we recently acquired ModCloth and Bonobos, and we sell a lot of LaCroix, because millennials, hipsters. I unfortunately have to classify myself in that group due to the date range, but I, emotionally, maturity-wise, I don't classify myself as a millennial, but I digress. We needed to grab people's attention. We weren't grabbing people's attention. Grabbing attention meant there was retention of the material and of the person. I am a firm believer in if we engaged, gathered their attention, made them aware of how cool this company was through a myriad of different experiences, we would be able to keep them on board. So one of the first things that I did was we created virtual reality training for how to order pick, how to order pack, how to load a trailer, using Adobe Premiere, After Effects, and a new plugin with Premiere for virtual reality. We were able to record 360-degree video and then embed buttons to have the information. You stare at something long enough, it pops up the information about it. So we went from there. We built from there. Some of the things that I and my team are working on right now are, interactivity motion control. So envision, if you will, you're coming into a warehouse. Your job is to be a putter. You're working in the put away function. You're putting product to a shelf. Well, there's all kinds of regulations. One, food safety. Two, OSHA, and then just ease of picking. So what I've created is or what I will create, am in the process of creating, is an interface that you'll have a series of images on this side of your screen right here, and then on this side of your screen right here, you'll have a diagram of the shelf. This software works as if you grab that item like this and you move it over there, it moves the image. So with that, we are able to then code in there like, okay, this image is classified as blank, this shelf location is also classified as blank. But if this image gets moved to this shelf location that's not classified as blank, then it flows it out. So to sum it up, my experience with developing multimedia apps is, I would like to say, is way up there amongst that of my peers. Like I said, as a millennial, I know curses that I have to use that, but as a millennial, I'm exposed to all this new technology all the time, not from the sense of wanting to use it to learn or use it to be productive, but people are trying to sell us this new technology to make money off us. But one of the discussions we've had is working with Google Glass to improve productivity and thinking of having, like, on your glasses here, a little artificial intelligence, pseudo artificial intelligence that's guiding you through your operation. So, hey, Google, I completed step 1. Okay, the next step is blank. So working with our teams on that and expanding that knowledge as well is an amazing, and honestly, the reason for what I want to gain from this class, what I want to take from this class, is expanding that knowledge. I want to dig every nook and cranny and find every little granular thing that could help me help others learn better, be more engaged with their learning. And then through that engagement, there's a correlation of them progressing because they retained the material from here. Now they're getting here because they took it, retained it, applied it, grew from it. Know, flow, go, grow. A little bit about my personal life, aside from me being extremely eccentric and basically a nerd from that aspect of what I've already covered, is I love soccer. I got my Wizards shirt on, my Wiz, not even the Wizards. Throw it all the way back. I mean, this is a faux back, though. I got it 2 years ago. But let me show you a little glimpse into my world. So those are all soccer scarves used as curtains. Behind me, got the North Remembers. That's not just Game of Thrones, although it's Game of Thrones themed. It's actually for Minnesota United. I know, I'm a sporting fan. Shouldn't really root for Minnesota, but it's a really cool scarf. I am a Game of Thrones fan as well. Anything else you would like to know about me is that I drink copious amounts of coffee with espresso in them. I say espresso because it hits me really quick and I'm just wired. And I always work. My mind's always wandering. This doesn't stop. So, if you have any questions about me or about what I do, that'd be awesome. I like to talk about it. I like to talk about work in general. My colleagues hate it because I will go to lunch and I'll just be talking about work. I get super geeked up when I do something and it works successful on the first time. And I'm just really enthralled to take this class and to gain more from it, to understand what all is out there in this grand universe of multimedia that, we can utilize as instructors or as people who build learning, who build curricula, to teach, to engage. Especially, I've seen a lot of you have already posted in the other class I'm taking, speaking about your classroom experience and how you utilize multimedia in the classroom. And believe me, I think there's a direct correlation and they link together. So if there's something I can do in blue collar learning, I know you can do it in educational classroom based learning. In fact, I have close friends who will hey, Tyler, help me out with this. I have an idea, and we'll end up blowing something out of the water and making a really cool, engaging experience. But the younger generations, as they come, it's going to be hard to draw their attention. In fact, I find myself, I'm always on my phone. Work related or not, I'm always on my phone or I'm always on my computer. I have 19 different tabs open. That's why I have not moved from this screen. You are not allowed to see that. But I'm absolutely enthralled to have discussions with you all, be working with this class and continue along in the program. This is my first class in the program. I am a first-year MIT student. I've been telling people that and make them think that I'm really smart, but I also tell them that it's Master of Instructional Technology afterwards because, yeah, there's no way that this could make it at MIT. So, super excited to work with all of you. Yeah, let's have an awesome semester. Let's kick butt. Tyler out.